To be clear, did you hear the White House counsel's office say that this plan to have alternate electors meet and cast votes for Donald Trump in states that he had lost was not legally sound?
Yes, sir.
And do you remember approximately when that was?
I'm trying to not be overly broad, but right now sitting here, I can recall at the time, perhaps early to mid-December. Now, it very well could have been the end of November, but I'm trying to think about benchmark events and dates in my head, and early to mid-December is the safer bet.
And who was present for that meeting that you remember?
It was in our office. It was Mr. Meadows, Mr. Giuliani, and a few of Mr. Giuliani's. I'm not fond of the term associates, but Mr. Giuliani's associates.
Do you remember who from White House? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, associates, colleagues, however it might be characterized. But
do you remember who from White House counsel's office was there and delivered that message?
The very first time I heard it, I know Mr. Cipollone. I'm inclined to say Mr. Pat Philbin as well.
So how did you come to understand that this was morphing?
I think there was an email either from somebody on Rudy's team or Ken Cheeseborough about having contingent electors vote in other states. And I just remember I either replied or called somebody saying, unless we have litigation pending that's like in these states, like, I don't think this is appropriate, or, this isn't the right thing to do. I don't remember how I phrased it, but, and I got into a little bit of a back and forth, and I think it was with Ken Cheeseborough, where I said, all right, I mean, you just get after it. Like, I'm out. And I believe I probably told Matt, I probably told Josh, like, don't do anything more on this. This is like going down a road that just doesn't make any sense.
Okay, make any sense? Did you have a problem with the sort of process, the legal issue with the process, or?
Well, it wasn't a legal. It was more like, what are we having contingent electors vote if there's no contingency whereby their votes are going to be counted? Like, this is stupid. Like, why are we doing this?
Do you know what Matt Morgan or Justin Clark's views on this were, specifically alternate electors?
Yeah, I think they thought it was crazy.
Did they tell you that? Did you talk to them about it?
Certainly had conversations, I know, with Justin about it. But the way it's presented is that it's crazy to think that this will work. It's not going to go anywhere.
So we have testimony that indicates that Justin Clark, Matt Morgan, and Josh Finley informed the campaign, likely the president himself, but also Rudy Giuliani and those working with him, that they did not feel it was appropriate to proceed with this plan and that they would no longer be involved. They were at that time told that this lawyer, Ken Cheeseborough, would be the point person for this campaign, or not campaign, this effort to convene the alternate slates of electors. It doesn't sound like that was communicated to you. Is that fair?
That was not communicated to me.
Okay. How does that affect your understanding of these events?
If I known that, I would have thrown my hands up in the air, because that was not communicated to me at all.
They were asking me to facilitate having the electors meet and sign some sort of document. And I was very uncomfortable with that, as per my lawyer's opinion as well, like confirmed that we felt that was something that was not appropriate So we came up with a document that we would have them have a ceremonial meeting. And one person would sign a document stating that if perhaps something were to happen in the courts, they were willing and able to serve as electors from Michigan for Donald Trump and Mike Pence. These people were going to, in violation of the lockdown, sneak in and stay overnight, and then allegedly kind of cast their vote in the Michigan Capitol.
Okay. So when you say hide overnight, you mean what you just said. They'd sneak into the Capitol on the 13th, hide there so they could vote on the 14th?
That's what he told me, yes. And I, in no uncertain terms, told him that that was a very, very bad idea and potentially illegal.
You said that you were uncomfortable now a couple of times with this and thought it was inappropriate. Why is that? If you could explain that a little bit more.
Well, one, I think it was just, it was a harebrained idea, and the more details I got, it became more harebrained.
When you read those Eastman memos, did you see a connection between what you had been asked to do, convening these electors, and what he had recommended?
I thought that it was that there certainly was a connection. I don't know if at the time that had been the kind of shadow, if you will, strategy, and we were just, kind of useful idiots or rubes at that point, just kind of do it and get. I don't know if that had been done. Part of me, a strong part of me really feels that it's just kind of as the road continued and as that was failure, that got formulated as what do we have on the table? Let's just do it.
And how did that make you feel about your having been involved in the alternate electors meeting in Georgia once you saw those memos and thought that there was a link?
I was ashamed.